Boys and girls, welcome to Club Evil. I'm Evil Dick.
Evil Dick! Evil.
You're a devil in disguise is what you are. You're burning me on purpose.
That's what I'm saying. Why do they think that God gives a crap about what goes on in that house? And why do they think that he's going to part the Red Sea for them to the Promised Land? Didn't you watch last season? What they didn't show last season was me in the diary room praying to my God, Fred.
Like some young, tiny, small spaces. Evil Dick. These little gooey telltale.
Are you taking the cameras off of me?
Evil Dick.
And welcome back to another Dick at Night RTV Zone Big Brother recap. That's an awfully long name just for a fucking recap show, ain't it? Welcome to Dick at Night. If you did miss it, make sure you go back and watch the two-part. Did you watch the two-parter I did with Dr. Will there, Adam?
Not yet. Haven't had a chance. Too much shit. There's been too much shit going on the feeds. I haven't had time.
How many times do you ever see Dr. Will doing interviews about Big Brother?
Exactly. Never see. Not even when he was on Big Brother did he do interviews about Big Brother.
But Dr. Will's a good guy. I've always gotten along with him very well. I have a very good rapport with Dr. Will. Even when he got pissed off at me for giving out his Dr. Tadoff number as a joke on a show that I was doing, I had Crazy James naked with a sign in front of his dick that said, call Dr. Tadoff and schedule your fake consultation or some kind of shit like that. He called me up like kind of annoyed, but, we ended up talking for like 2.5 hours, and he got it. It was a joke. It was no big deal. So, anyhow, this evening, as you can see, I have Bacon Boy here for a one-on-one. I guess Ronnie was supposed to be, actually, tonight was supposed to be Ronnie, Chicken George, and Adam. But as flaky as Big Brother people are, I always tell everyone if they've never been on the show before to, be prepared, get your computer gear and all that bullshit, and download the conferencing program that we use ahead of time. But Chicken George didn't. He went over to his daughter's house to help him, brought his camera from 1983, and it was incompatible with the computer at his daughter's house. So he is going to go buy a webcam, and he will be joining us next week. So at that time, once again, we will have Adam back because Adam has wanted to meet Chicken George, and I will
honestly,
make the introduction.
If it was Chicken George, you, and Ronnie, that's like my dream team of my favorite Big Brother players ever. If you just throw Howie and Janelle into that mix too, and maybe Rachel from season 12, not season 13, those are all my favorites of all time. So yes, Dick, I am a big fan of you and Chicken George.
Right on. I've never been a fan of Rachel. I'm just not. Outside the house, she's tolerable. Personally, she's tolerable. But, on the show, I absolutely hate her. And if she never graces my television set again, even if she does, I won't be watching. That I can guarantee you. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry, but we have a lot to talk about. So if Ronnie comes in, he was held up late at school because he's like, Ronnie's got to be like the mean teacher at school. He's not going to be the nice teacher, right? He's got to be just a mean motherfucker that gives the kids got a straight A's, and he's going to be the teacher that gives him a B, right?
That definitely sounds like Ronnie. But I'm sure he's doing his Little Shop of Horrors right now. Little Shop of Horrors.
He was making up puppets and everything, and I got a hold of him the other day. He was chaperoning a dance. Could you imagine him busting in the bathroom going, all right, who's doing coke in here? So
I don't even think he would know what it looked like, so who knows?
No, sorry. I've been sick for like 2 weeks with this cold after I got back from Florida. It's just ridiculous. So there's a few things I wanted to talk about. First thing is Look, I actually got I made the resolution of my camera higher. People were complaining that my camera was like kind of blurry or something. So I'm on high resolution, so you could be able to see like every one of my whiskers and every one of my ass hairs when I fucking spread my cheeks for you later, so to speak. Don't get excited.
I won't be looking.
Let's start off with I came across actually a fan turned me on to this, one of the greatest tributes. You know, the fans make tributes of your time in the Big Brother house.
Oh yeah.
This is, you know, and Jody got screwed for her time in the house. I think so. You think so? Yeah. Everyone I've talked to that has seen any interviews with her after we as viewers were robbed by Jody's lack of time in the house and being evicted within the first episode. Very unfair, but you know, it is what it is. But somebody went to all the trouble to put together a whole tribute of Jody's time in the house. So let's sit back and let's enjoy this one. Go ahead and roll that clip. And that's it.
Oh, poor Jody.
When I saw that, I was laughing so hard. It still makes me laugh. Bravo.
What is that called? What is it?
That tribute together.
Yeah, what is that called? Jody's greatest hit?
Hold on. Let me. I have to go back. Somebody send it to me on.
Because she did get.
Let me see if I can
she did
find
hit that bed pretty hard there.
Oh, here it is. It's if you just love this clip so much and you want to see it again, it's called BB14 Jody Jodi Rollins Tribute is the name of the clip. BB14.
Saying the name of the clip is even longer than the actual clip.
It actually is. That clip was a total of 4 seconds. Absolutely hysterical. I love it to death, and you can replay it over and over and over, and you won't even lose a minute of your life doing it. So let's talk about the episode first, and then we're going to get into we'll kind of blow through this. We'll blow through this as quickly as we can, and it's just a one-on-one, so this might be kind of a short episode if Ronnie doesn't join us, but we do have a lot to talk about.
Sure do.
And I know that when I said that, you know, we're going to also be touching on Dan's great gameplay, this gameplay that he did that we all know about, those of us that watch the feeds, which is most of my viewers, and both of us here, that he played last night, which was a great gameplay. We'll be talking about that as well, but we'll talk about that at the end. And when I said that I was going to be talking about that with you, Chicken George, and Ronnie, I had a whole bunch of sarcastic assholes saying, "Oh, talk about a great gameplay with people that don't play the game." So Adam's thinking,
I watched the game. I had a front row seat. I was on the field watching the game play, so I know all about moves. I don't know how to do a move, but I know how to watch a move and critique a move.
It's kind of like watching a football game, being able to criticize the quarterback even though you can't throw the ball. Hey,
exactly.
Okay.
Hey, you gotta have people on the sidelines holding the first down markers. They're just as important as the people playing the game.
Well, the sad part of it was you were actually playing the game and didn't play the game last year. So that's what everybody criticizes you about, including myself. Adam has taken a lot of shit. And I think that I have given Adam more shit than anybody else. So
I could eat it all day long. It's fine. There we go. Of course. Thank you.
Kissing my ass a little bit more here. That is a great Photoshop job, don't you think?
I do love it. I do love it.
I showed that to my friends who I was actually over at my friend's house in Florida, and I was just there again, spending some time with them. And, you know, his father passed out in one of the chairs, and I had dropped my pants and put my ass right next to his face, and they were taking pictures. That's where that picture came from. So when you were you were kissing my picture in the Big Brother house, and I was like, oh my God, somebody photoshopped this for me, and it turned out it was a great Photoshop. So anyhow,
I wasn't just, hold on a second, I wasn't just randomly kissing your picture. It was photo day. I would always joke with Danielle about how much I love you, blah, blah, blah. So it was a joke. It wasn't like I just sat around the house all day kissing your picture, Dick. Don't make the viewers think that.
Well, it could be better. Is it better than kissing my dick picture?
Yeah, that's true, too.
Dick. Okay, exactly. Ba-dum-bum. Ian, not being able to make this decision. Ian's not very good under pressure. He's not very good on the spot. Not being able to make the decision without listening to everyone. Tell him what to do before being pressured to making the decision. I'm going back an episode, okay, to the HOH that was the second. Was this everything's gone on so fast? It was the second HOH, right? Before the second eviction.
It was before the second eviction, yes. It was,
right.
it was the only HOH they played on the live show.
On that last episode.
Right.
Okay, so Boogie goes home. They play for an HOH, which is such a ripoff of an HOH. I won this HOH in Big Brother 8. I didn't get the room. I get a basket. I get a basket, and I have to ask the HOH that is the HOH after that if I can go up and use the stereo to listen to my music CD. And the HOH after me was Zach, who I hated. So it really made things awkward, and I wasn't down with it at all. It was very uncomfortable. So anyhow, everyone's pulling Ian into the lounge room, or what are they calling it? The arcade room?
The arcade. You know, real quick though, Dick, when it got down to Ian and Brittany and Danielle, shouldn't Ian have thrown it at that point? I mean, at that point, he was safe with Danielle and with Brittany, so that he had no reason to even win that HOH. So the kid talks about being, can't do well under pressure. Well, he ended up winning that HOH in a very pressure situation. So the whole thing, getting pulled into the arcade and being told what to do, he knew exactly what he was going to do before that. Nobody changed his mind.
Wait, hold on. Immediately afterwards, he's bitching and moaning and complaining, saying that they should have backdoored Frank. This was classic. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. I should have, we should have backdoored Frank. Motherfucker, you're the HOH. You should have backdoored Frank. You can't complain because you let everyone else pressure you into doing this. And then Frank is chasing Ian around, saying blah, 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 and all this shit. And Ian's like running away with like a scared little puppy dog with his tail between his legs from room to room to get away from Frank. And you have Brittany saying, leave him alone. Leave him alone. I felt like it was, matter of fact, it should have been more prepared for this episode with the clips. But usually we're not playing clips because we're doing it right after the episode airs. So we don't have time for clips, and I always forget that we have time for clips on this particular show. But this right here, I'm going to just play it on my computer. And I'm just going to hold up my other computer and play it for everyone. So this is like ghetto clips is what I'm going to do. This is what it reminded me of.
Fucking dare anyone out there make fun of Brittany after all she's been through.
Leave it alone!
She had to fucking get her husband turned out to be.
Yeah, Ian had nobody to blame but himself. If he thought it was a good idea to backdoor Frank, he had the power. He could have done it no matter what anybody said to him. If he would have just said, hey, it's going to be better to backdoor. He even told Joe, be careful. You might be going on the block. You might be going on the block. So he did have enough time to make a decision. So I don't want to hear he was pressured into making a decision. He knew exactly what he's going to do, and he did it, and it fucked up. And he went back and he said, I knew it was going to happen. Well, if you knew so much, you should have fucking done it the other way. But of course, it didn't happen. And Frank ends up winning the veto, saving himself. and he uses his second HOH. He uses the HOH to get rid of Ashley. What the? That was almost as bad as the Diamond Power of Vito to get rid of Kathy. Come on.
I completely agree. I'm friends with Matt Hoffman, but Matt is just not. Matt's not a player. I'm sorry. When you're in one of the most successful alliances in the history of Big Brother, but yet they kick you out because you're a douche. Really, it's the truth. They kicked him out because he was a douche and because they felt that they couldn't trust him, plain and simple. So you're in one of the most successful alliances that they kick you out of. You're given the Diamond Power of Veto, and you evict one of the most horrible house guests in the history of the show. And I've talked with Kathy. Kathy's a very nice lady. She's very nice. She explained to me that she was extremely sick. They even had her on an IV. But watching the show, she was absolutely... And she was afraid for her job. And I said, Why the fuck did you go on? She was afraid that, they told her right before she left that if she said anything sideways, that the sheriff's department was going to fire her. And I think that at that point, she just should have said, Big Brother... I'm sorry, but it's just not worth risking my job for going on this show instead of giving us this horrible character that nobody liked, and it's just a complete disappointment. Anyhow, you're right, and I have also related this. I think my cat has a bug in the window. I've also related this to people online about that entire thing. I feel like this episode that we're talking about was so long ago. It was only yesterday that it was on, but there's been so much that's gone on online. I feel like this episode was like a week ago. I'm looking at my notes going, oh wow, I forgot about that because there's so much crazy shit that's been going on. What else do I have here? Ian can't even he hardly was able to nominate people to their face. That this kid's like halfway crying. He'll talk shit to Boogie on his way out the door, get stepping, and in the diary room it was all me. But when he's in the house, he's like, "You're picking on me." And I had a fan.
He had to bring his big boy pants to the game. I mean, come on. He's such a gamer. If he's such a fan of the game, he's got to know that this shit's going to happen. The whole thing with him crying before Boogie went home, and then all of a sudden he grows a pair of balls and tells Boogie, "Hey, get to stepping." But then right after that, it's like, so I don't know what to believe with this kid. I mean, he talks about not being able to handle pressure, but yet he's got time to make smarky remarks. So. Is Ian just trying to play us as fans, or is he really that weird in his head that he doesn't know certain situations how to deal with? I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think it's doing things to people's face and then having to be there to suffer the aftermath, as opposed to somebody walking out the door where you go, "Fuck you too," you know what I mean? And then the door closes and it's like, I told him, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So, I'm very disappointed in Ian. I was one of my fans, and people are going to talk shit. I don't care, but I don't care. I thought it was hilarious the way that Ian's rocking all the time, back and rock. He's always rocking himself. I know he has some kind of weird nervous tic that he has to keep himself busy, or I don't know, maybe he's like fuck, shit, cunt, twat, with Tourette's or something. I don't know, but somebody said that I could just see Ian, in his later college years, rocking himself like that with a rifle with the scope in a bell tower at some college he's going to later. And I was just like, wow, that kind of does sound like it wouldn't be completely out of the question.
Hey, with some of the Big Brother contestants that we've had over the last few years, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, shall we take here's another one I would love to have clips. Let's take a little walk down the Green Mile of Big Brother. We've had Drew, winner of Season 5, that Diane Henry had a showmance with. Drew was the winner of season 5. That Diane Henry had the showmance with. Diane was in All Stars. Was arrested, tased, and arrested. Not just arrested, but tased and arrested for domestic violence with his male partner.
Roommate. It was.
Yeah.
Didn't they say in the article his roommate?
About him for a long time. I don't know if he's gay. I don't care if he's gay. I think he's gay. It was probably his boyfriend. I'm just saying what it is. Then we had Adam and Matt from season 9, who are both in jail now. Adam's in jail for basically having a drug ring distributing OxyContin up and down the eastern seaboard with Matt. Oh, jeez, I gotta get this pen's getting my hand. This pen is doing a number here. So they're both in jail for that. We have Tanya for season 3. I think it's 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter in a drunk driving case in Vegas. Speaking of Vegas, we have Amber, the Wamber from my season. Wamber was arrested for child endangerment, DUI under a controlled substance. Who else? I know I'm missing some.
There's some more, but we don't need to air the dirty laundry. Let's get back to the show. There's a lot of good stuff on the show. Let's stick with that.
Oh, yeah. Dirty laundry is what it's all about. No.
I know.
You can't avoid that. Danielle, I can't. I'm sick of her crying. I'm sick of her ugly face. I'm sick of her stalking Shane. Even on the feeds today, Shane is like kind of obsessed with my daughter.
Yes, he is. Oh my God.
He talks about my daughter Danielle a lot on the feeds. And today, Danielle from this season got wind of him talking about Danielle, my daughter, and I think that my daughter Danielle is going to have to take out a restraining order on this Danielle.
Let's hope my buddy Dominic PT can take care of business and shut Shane down.
Yeah.
Nobody moves in with my man.
Yeah, well, my daughter has a history of dating reality show, especially Big Brother people. So I doubt that Dominic will be the last, and he's definitely not the first. Let's put it that way. And to answer this question, which I've been asked 50 million times, no, I will never, ever do Big Brother with my daughter again. That's out of the question. Not going to happen. If you ever see me on Big Brother again, it will be on my own. It will not be with Danielle. I've had enough of her and her bullshit, and just enough is enough. So I'm looking through my notes here. Brittany's freaking out. Danielle's freaking out. We have Ian freaking out in this episode. Do these people think that they can go through this entire show for $500,000 and not face any pressure or tough decisions?
I can answer that. Yes. No, I mean, come on. Like, especially Brittany. She's been there before. She's got to know. And, you know, like, people are actually looking to her for advice. And the fact that she doesn't give good advice to anybody, I mean, it's kind of pathetic.
What did you think of Brittany's gameplay in season 12?
I thought she was very funny. That's all I got to say about her from season 12. She was not the best strategy. She had no strategy. And in fact, this year, she actually started to show a little bit of strategy by knowing, hey, they had the Silent Six. She had the Quack Pack. She had her back covered at least one other way. Whereas in season 12, she didn't have her back covered any which way. And that's why when they finally got rid of her,
But she never stuck with this alliance. She stuck her lips on any one of the HOH's asses week after week and would do whatever they wanted her to. That is the definition of a floater. She can say she was in the Quack Pack. As soon as Frank got HOH, she was like,
She was right. She was right back. Well, that's what I said. For a little while, she was actually starting to play a good game. But then, yes, once the double eviction went down and Frank got HOH again, she went back up there and apologized. And Frank is just looking for anybody to talk game with. And he would have been on Team Brittany and Shane in a heartbeat. He said, "I want to work with you guys. I've shown you guys I want to work with you."
Fucking stupid. This is what happens. This is what bad players do. And this is why Dan's move, which we'll get to, worked. Is because Frank is out on an island all by himself. He's a great competitor, and he has no one. So, you never ever, I alienated more people in my season than anyone ever in any season ever, right? But
pretty much,
I worked with every single person in my season minus the first three people, which was Carol's was out first, Joe was out second, and Mike was out third. Those were the only three people that I never worked with. There's still 11 more people in my season, and I worked with every single one of them at one point or another, including Jen.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and that's the difference. This season, it just seems like nobody really wants to, stick to any plan. They get all these great plans they do for 30 seconds, and then somebody flips the script, and then they go and do something else, and it's pretty pathetic. I mean, that's why you have people like Shane and Frank that win every single competition and just keep getting by. I mean, Frank, this kid is I don't even call it luck anymore. I mean, he's actually that good of a competitor where you cannot get rid of him unless you backdoor him.
Hold on as well. Let's look at who else is in the house, competitor-wise. He doesn't have a lot of competition. He has Shane. Nobody else even wants to win anything. I mean, Ian sneaks in a win here. Danielle sneaks in a win there. But none of these other motherfuckers are even in the running in some of these competitions. It's not even close.
Well, that's what was funny with Brittany had a good DR session about that. Like when Frank won the HOH again, she was like, the door goes up. We might as well just stay inside and let Frank win. But didn't she say something about like Frank is competing against hospice patients, which I thought was a little fucked up. But I mean, it's pretty much true.
Like hospice patients, and the thing is because nobody wants it as bad as he does. Nobody wants it as bad as he does because he knows he's going to go home if he doesn't win it. So he wants it, and he goes after it, where everyone else is like, should I throw it? Do I really want it? Do I want the pressure? Somebody won't like me. No, but nobody else wants it except for it's going after it, but Shane.
Or even worse, you got somebody like Joe who just sucks at these competitions. I mean, Grant.
There's so many horrible people on the season. Joe and Jen and, it's like, oh my God, somebody shoot me in the face. Let's talk about Boogie. Boogie was evicted. Let's not scoot past this. The winner of Big Brother All-Stars, and arguably the cockiest motherfucker that ever walked into the Big Brother house, Mike Boogie, went home. His mistakes, I think that some of his glaring mistakes, one of the things that he did that was definitely right on was partnering up with Frank right away.
Yes. No, that was a great number one pick for him.
Yes. He didn't keep enough control of Frank and teach Frank to keep his mouth shut, which was ultimately led to his demise because Frank going and telling Dan that I thought about backdooring you this week, told Dan he can't trust them because this motherfucker's thinking about backdooring me. I got to do something about this now. That was the beginning of the end for Boogie because of Frank's big mouth.
Well, the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end for Boogie was not letting Frank backdoor Shane by calling him out on that. And I said from the beginning, the only way once the coach
backdoor
Dan.
Dan, because he wanted to backdoor Dan. He wanted to do it. Boogie said no, it's too early.
And I said it before that I think that the only way Dan or Boogie were going to win is if they were sitting next to the other one. So I think Boogie knew that the only way he was going to get the votes is if he was sitting next to another winner, because if he was sitting next to anybody else that hasn't won, he probably wouldn't get the votes. So I
don't think so. I think that the way that some of these people are playing, if he was sitting next to Jen, he would win. If he was sitting next to Danielle, he would win. If he's sitting next to Brittany, he would. I think that he would have won if he would have made it to the end. But he didn't. He's gone. I think that another huge mistake of Boogie's was showing everyone he didn't give a fuck about going for the HOH, where he went for the 10 grand instead of going to win the HOH. And if I was Frank, I would have been pissed off as a motherfucker. You know, look, motherfucker, are you joking me? We're supposed to be working together. I'm winning HOH every other week and keeping you off the block. You know my ass has been on the block every other week that I'm not, and you go for the 10 grand and don't even go to help me out by getting the HOH. Right. And he didn't go for it, so he ends up on the block and he ends up going home. That's another enormous mistake.
And then the biggest mistake was him being senile and forgetting that he actually told Ian to put up Shane and or Brittany. He forgot to say that, so when everything came out and they kept Dan kept saying it wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. For 1 second, Boogie was like, was it Ian? Nah, it couldn't have been him. I mean, he forgot that he basically told them that, and the only other people that
he trusted Ian so much and didn't think that Ian had any kind of deceptive bone in his body, that he never suspected him whatsoever of anything at all. And that was another part of his mistake. I think that part of Boogie's Boogie's bad gameplay on the negative side was letting the prior relationship with Janelle get in the way and affect his game and her game as well. Where all of these coaches that are going home, dropping like flies now, if they would have, they should have banded together at least for a good stretch instead of trying to pick each other off. Like last season where immediately I got everyone in the HOH and said, Jeff, when we were still out in the backyard before we were able to go inside the house after the banana competition, the hanging on the banana first HOH, I was talking to Jeff, and Jeff leans over and he goes, I don't know if it's a good idea, Dick, that we like make an alliance together. I'm like, dude, are you mental? I'm like, we're already in an alliance, motherfucker. The producers put us in an alliance, and they're all in alliance. I said, who was the last ones hanging on the banana? Me, Danielle, Rachel, and Portia. All of the new people were sitting on the side going, yay, Portia. I go, they weren't going, yay, Dick, yay, Danielle, yay, Rachel. No. So we're already in an alliance, bitch.
Right, which I gotta give the one credit to the newbies of this season for actually getting out so far Janelle and Boogie way early rather than let them hang around. I think by having them as coaches for the first few weeks and then coming in, they were more able to cut them off as soon as they became players. Whereas with us, we were still a little overwhelmed by the big players come back in the house. And also last year, we had a lot more fans of Big Brother. This year's cast, besides Ian and Frank, I mean, Ashley's a little bit of a fan, but nobody else on the cast is really a fan.
Who cares? Ashley's a fan of Xanax is what Ashley's a fan of. That girl I've never seen anybody so fucked up on this show ever in my life. I'm not kidding you. This girl was.
What about season 9 Adam?
Season 9 Adam was on coke in the beginning of the season. I know he snuck an 8-ball or 2 up his ass and went into the house. And this is the truth. I'm not making this up. You go back and you watch season 9, his diary rooms and stuff in the beginning of the season. This guy was coked out of his fucking mind. Yes, he had those fucking cocaine eyeballs when he was in the fucking DR. And, it took maybe a couple weeks until he got back to normal. I don't know if he was in there acting like he's taking a shit and fucking snorting his shit up, but he was a cokehead. I don't know why they cast him. I never could understand. As soon as he was in there, all my friends are calling me because it was right after I won Big Brother on season 8. Season 9 started 3-4 months later or something, but 5 months later, whatever it was. And I had literally thousands of people calling me and writing me going, dude, this guy's a fucking cokehead. What the hell is going on? They're casting. They let you do drugs in there. So whatever. But let me go to. Well, I'm going to hold that one for a minute. At this point right now in this season, before this move with Dan, and I want to get there, Fetus, can you give me how far are we into the show? Just quick. I want to know how much time we have left. Okay, thank you. I'm writing down my minutes here. We're at 35. I'm not saying anything about you, motherfucker. All right, so anyhow, the only 2 up until this point, in my eyes, that even deserve to win this season are Shane and Frank. And Frank was saved by production because Frank should have been completely and utterly blindsided, which would have been one of the greatest blindsides in the history of the show. And the producers
the greatest. Maybe the second greatest.
The only one that comes to mind is Dustin, and I don't think it's just because it was my season or next to me. It was a great blindside, and his reaction of was one of the greatest faces of being blindsided in Big Brother history. So I have a problem with all the manipulation on this season, the producer manipulation. I really do. And people will, all the smart asses will come out of the fucking woodwork and they'll go, well, if it wasn't for America's player, you wouldn't have won, Dick. How can you say that? And I said, I can say it very easy, motherfucker. Nobody had a game as hard as I did because nobody ever had to play for 2 people like I had to play for me and Danielle. Nobody had to do that. And if you would like to remember that that eviction with Dustin, if it wasn't for the AP, the America's Player vote, that one vote kept me in the house. I also got Jen's vote, remember? Jen voted for me to stay and voted for Dustin to leave. Also, that was the same week I won the motherfucking POV and I took my daughter off the block. So if I wasn't playing for 2 people, I would have taken myself off the block. So what I have to say to all you motherfuckers about that shit is suck a dick. Production didn't just come out of the woodwork and go, dun da da da, no eviction tonight. You are saved, and all of this bullshit. So just like they did with Frank. So that's very disappointing to me. But Frank has played his ass off. And the following HOH, where I don't even know how would you describe that? With the ball on the beam with the 2 ropes that you controlled the up or the down of the beam, right?
You had to put the ball in the hole at the top with strings.
Right. But you had to guide the ball up the board. By both of your strings, you're pulling back and you're going left and you're going right, up and down, and the board would, the beam would go this way. You're avoiding holes, and you had to get it into the top hole in order to win this thing. First, you had to qualify. Frank was last.
No, he was second to last. Joe was last. He was second to last. But he still had to go through every single round.
He had to go through every single person in order, in a head-to-head competition, but who got it in there first but he had to beat every other person in the fucking house in order to win this HOH. And he kicked their ass one by one by one.
Nobody even got it like past like halfway. I mean, at least that's what they showed, but nobody even got it anywhere close. And it just looked like Frank was locked in. You know, it was similar to last year when Portia won the HOH after the double eviction when she had to do the snake, and she beat everybody one by one by one. So I you know, in a competition like that though, once you get into a groove, you're feeling it, you're locked in.
The more you do something, the better you get at it. The more you're used to it, you are. It's like the labyrinth game with the one knob on each side where you're taking the little marble and going around the thing.
Yep.
The first time you do it, you're dropping it in the first hole. After you get a feel for it and how it's flowing, you get farther and farther and farther, and you get faster and faster and faster. But they had a practice apparatus in the backyard for a full 24 hours. And if these motherfuckers did not take advantage of it, they deserve to lose.
Exactly. No, I mean, they had every opportunity to learn how to play that game. And Frank just went out there, and you said it before, he wanted it more, he needed it more. Everybody else that's in the house is like afraid to like rock the boat. They don't want to be the one to do it. So Frank knew if he doesn't win, he's going to go home. So he had to win, and he ended up winning again.
That's it. So, you know, it's Who Wants It More? The next POV is a Who Wants It More? And I'm looking forward to seeing this on Wednesday.
Definitely.
Day after tomorrow. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, which most of you probably do, it's the same competition, the same type of POV competition as the graveyard scene in All Stars, where they were all laying in graves and they were all saying how much they were willing to bid on whatever it was prizes, margarita party, money. Boogie won a trip to Aruba. Danielle ended up in solitary for 24 hours. You know, there was bad things that gave you more points toward the POV, or I think you started with X amount of points. That's how it's
right. And I think Season 12 did the exact same. Well, did a very similar to one where you had to buzz in because that was when Brendan had to shave his head. I think he had to do the chum bath. He had to be connected to.
And we did a very similar one in Big Brother 8, right? Where they had to. And I was pissed off.
I was looking forward to that one for season 13. They never did it to us because I would have been. Taking all the abuse, I didn't care just to win a veto. Well, that's an easy veto to win. Just take abuse.
Well, the thing is how bad do you want it? Are you going to not take all the good stuff, and are you going to be willing to? One of the questions in my season, which they've never done before or after, and I actually thought it was very unfair. Would you be willing to take half the prize money if you win? And Jen said yes. Well, and I was sitting on the side because I don't know if I was HOH that week or I wasn't playing that POV, and I was like, thank God I would not be wanting to play this POV. So I was sitting on the sideline, and I always had something to say during the competitions. And, they would come out over the loudspeaker and they'd go, Dick, can you please be quiet? We need to get this sound. And I'm like, yeah, right. And, Jen says, I would be willing to give up half the prize money if I win. And I'm sitting there on the side going, because you ain't going to win. Half of nothing is still nothing, bitch. And everybody's like,
Well, I'm interested to see how this veto goes down because apparently Frank talked during the veto and that prevented him from playing in the next HOH, which, again, for somebody that's fighting for his life, obviously he can't play in this HOH coming up, but the next one after that.
But you know what I think that has to do with was him and Boogie cheating in the Lollipop POV. Because they both said, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, I'm not even very clear totally on what happened in the Lollipop POV, but you can go on to Big Brother Updates, Joker's Updates, or some other motherfucking BB Updates or some other bullshit site and look it up for yourself.
Hamsterwatch.com.
HamsterWatch.com, whatever. One of those websites. Look it up yourself. And Boogie and Frank both admitted to cheating or changing their numbers or something during that POV competition, and they weren't fined for it. Because Big Brother is the producers are very, very patient, and they don't give out penalties like that very easily. So either Frank was we'll see when it goes on the Wednesday show, because they're not going to give him a penalty like that without really explaining why he got the penalty. So let's go to Pandora's Box, which I've always hated Pandora's Box. I look at it as a way of the producers manipulating the show. They gave Matt the Diamond Power of veto, on a fucking silver platter. All of this other bullshit that goes on with this producer manipulation. But I hate Pandora's Box.
There are a couple. There are
that take it are idiots.
Oh, there's a couple fun Pandora's boxes, as we all remember last year, like Tori Spelling, when they had in season 11 with the money raining down, it was kind of fun, luxury competitions, stuff like that.
The money raining down, and Natalie got to see her boyfriend in the HOH, right. And he proposed to her, okay, which nobody really gave a shit about. Did it help Natalie's game?
I don't think so.
Has the Pandora's Box ever helped the HOH that has taken it? Has it ever helped their game? It could have been massively helpful to Matt Hoffman, but he's an idiot and blew it. But that's the only Pandora's Box I know of that was truly could have been beneficial. Can you think of one?
Well, wait,
somebody's gonna tell me something. One of the viewers is gonna tell me something. Tell me I'm wrong. But
when did it wasn't Pandora's Box though? But when Dan was able to leave and take Michelle Costa, season 10, that wasn't Pandora's Box, but that was similar to that. I mean, that's the only time that one of these like fake reward things has really helped somebody.
Yeah, and but the Pandora's Box. These idiots will fucking go for it every time. I don't understand why. When I was in Big Brother in season 8, even winning the big screen television, which by today's standards is not a big screen. I mean, I got a nice Vizio. At the time, it was worth like $5,000. But now you could get the same television for like $600 or $800 or something. So I think it's like a 48-inch, whatever. I didn't want it. I sat there going, because you remember this is the same competition where people pick a prize, and then whoever's out next can either pick your prize or take another prize. It was one of those, and I kept going, big screen TV right here. Somebody please take this. I don't want to be a target because I got a $5,000 television. I didn't want it. I didn't want anything to do with any money rewards or anything because it makes you a target. And you think that Frank would have learned from Boogie, taking the $10,000 on the HOH, making him a target. He goes for the little question marks for the money. He's a fan of the show. He should know better than this. He ends up with $3,000 when he was afraid, and for good reason, that the Pandora's Box could have fucked up his nominations. Is it worth?
And it almost did. It really almost did.
And he's not allowed to play the next 2 HOHs. And he's willing to risk this over the most it said was in there was $10,000, right?
Right.
Would you be willing
he didn't know about the second HOH until, because that happened after Pandora's Box.
Oh, that's
but the first, but still, like in the position that he was in, he was just hoping for something. But I still think it was not the smartest move to take Pandora's Box. But you know what? At this point in the game, he knows he's a threat. He knows he's got a really uphill battle until he gets to the end. If he's unemployed, $10,000. You know what? If you got $10,000 and went home, better to do that than to come in third place and not get anything.
Well, I don't know. See, that's the way that, maybe James Ryan would look at it that way too. I look at it as I'm not willing to take $10,000 and risk losing the $500,000 over the $10,000. I always looked at the big picture and that $500,000 to me was everything. $10,000 and what he got, $3,000. $3,000. That's a fucking weekend in Vegas. Come on.
But hey, you take that $3,000 in Vegas, you can win yourself some money.
Right, or get yourself an STD.
There you go.
But oh wow, that was like, what's that? That was Jesus talking to me. Oh, sorry, you're a Jew. It was God talking. It was Moses, Abraham. Abraham was talking to me.
Jesus was a Jew.
Jesus was
a Jew. Come on, I know all about Jesus.
No, Jesus mows my lawn.
Oh, boo.
Hey. This producer needs to, all right, you're out, man. We need to, let's move it along a little bit. And, because we do still have a lot to talk about. So, how about this? We're moving on now to the next, is it the POV?
Oh, no, it was the competition for Pandora's box.
It was the Pandora's box. Okay. They're looking for a veto. They're looking all over the house. The balls start flying in the backyard. We all know that. I like how they film it. It looks like they're raining out of the sky when really it's a whole bunch of interns on a catwalk with boxes of balls that are throwing them at the house guests. Dan goes in. They see that there's a golden veto ball in the arcade, the grabber game. Okay? Dan goes in, comes out, lies to everyone, and says that he got it. So they all will stop looking, yet he's still looking. And is that the stupidest, most desperate lie ever?
It's definitely one of them. But, Dan, after Frank won the HOH, Dan turned into a completely different person that we've never seen before. I mean, during that competition, he was ruthless. He was knocking people over. He just had to find the coins. To lie about winning it already, just to get people off their game. But thank God, I think Brittany ran right in there and looked in there, or Joe ran in there and looked in and said, nope, it's still there. He's lying. Let's keep going. So, yeah, I mean, but Dan's just, out of nowhere, you just saw, a vicious animal come out of him.
It was really sad and very desperate.
Yes.
Him, and it was looking really, really bad. We'll get into Dan being in solitary and how that exactly helped him out. We're going to have to move along. We might even not get to touch on Dan and his move because I still do have a little bit to talk about. We got a video mailbag. I got one more clip. So, you know what? I think we're just going to start wrapping this up. And we'll touch on Dan's move when they show it on the show, which will be Wednesday. And we'll cover that then because that's a lot to talk about.
Right, there's one more thing happened during that Pandora's Box challenge, though, that you have to talk about, is when Dan was getting mad at Ian and said to Ian, I'll rat you out in a heartbeat, I'll rat you out. And as if most of the house didn't already know he was a rat. By Dan saying that, that planted the seeds. That got everything growing. So I think Dan, in the time of passion, fighting for that veto ball, I think he actually started playing the game that he ended up following through with today, and that is cast doubt throughout the rest of the house over Ian.
I think he plotted that whole thing when he was in isolation, and he had 24 hours to really think. He would probably went over that speech, his funeral speech, 100 times in his head, pacing back and forth in the have-not room. But we're going to save that. We're out of it. We're saving it.
I know, but before that, I think it was in his back pocket because last week when Boogie and Frank were calling him out, and he's like, I'm taking a lot of abuse for this kid. I'm taking the abuse for this kid. He better respect it.
I don't know why
and then during that Pandora's Box challenge, you saw that that little bit of desperation, that little bit of greed got to Dan, and, he definitely started to change the way he was a little bit because he saw the writing on the wall that
he wanted
this
a
might not
veto,
be.
and his ass was on the block. Was he on the block?
No,
he was on the block.
He was not on the block yet.
No.
Nominations did not happen yet because that was the stupid move by Frank.
Frank won the HOH, and Dan knew he was going on the block.
Yes,
so that's why he might as well been on the block.
Stupid move by Frank, though. When Ian wins that veto ball, you got to put Ian up right away. You have to put Ian up.
It's
you
like
flush that thing out.
The idol.
You had to do it. That was. I mean, for him not to do that,
or you work out a deal with Ian to take someone off the block and backdoor somebody else. But Ian has to come into play on this. Because there was two idols. There's two vetoes floating around this week with the veto ball, and there's another veto with the veto competition, and it's all getting kind of murky, and we're running out of time here. I didn't think that we were going to be able to be talking that long, just me and you, but we've had a lot to talk about. I'm starting not to like Ian as much because he was starting to get really, really cocky, really shitty, and he thinks he's getting a big head. He thinks that he's this really good player now, that it was all him with Boogie, and he's a badass. He's going to be on the good versus evil Big Brother season, and he's going to be on the evil side.
You know what, Dick, look back at last year. The same thing happened to Shelly. Once Shelly started doing this back and forth, and her head started growing and growing and growing, and she felt invincible. Ian is doing the exact same thing this year. He was feeling invincible. He made this big move. He got people to rally to get out Boogie. He thought he was in control. And in this game, you get comfortable. You get to stepping. So, Ian, I'm a huge fan of Ian. I love him. I love that he's a fan. But his ego started getting to him. And once again, don't tell me he did not know that the double eviction was coming. Don't tell me that because he knew all the time.
They were all talking about it, that it could be this week.
So the fact that he keeps holding to the fact that, it was a quick decision, bullshit. They knew all week that it was going to be a double eviction, or at least they knew by Tuesday, Wednesday, they knew it was going to be a double eviction. They had a feeling it was going to be a double eviction. So for him to say that he's not good under pressure, his mind was already made up before that. So I'm losing a little bit of respect for him as well because his ego's getting in the way. But,
everybody likes the awkward, socially uncomfortable, the people that have the good heart and are good humored and lighthearted,
right.
Like Michelle Noonan on her season, which Michelle has really changed as a person really changed a lot since her season.
Yeah, she's got blonde hair now.
Well, hair extensions, that doesn't even matter. But she's changed a lot as a person since the show, and I think that she missed the point of the reason why people loved her was that she was socially awkward, and she was really being picked on by Ronnie. Was so mean to her. Really mean to her when Ronnie should have been teaming up with her. Dummy. What is the thing with, did Boogie leave Frank all of his clothes?
Yes. He left behind. Remember when he walked out, he didn't even bring his bag with him. He told him put my bag in storage. Because Boogie wanted Chilltown to keep going on, even though he was not in the house. Frank is a new member of Chilltown, so now Frank's got all the Chilltown stuff. He's got the coach shirt, he's got the Boogie shirt, I think the Geisha House jersey he might have taken out, but he's got the Chilltown basketball jersey. It's pretty sad that Frank is holding on to all this stuff, like, oh Boogie, oh Boogie, oh Boogie.
It's so strange. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Nick, on my season, my daughter had the showmans with Nick, and he left the bandana in, and Danielle would wear it on her wrist, she'd wear it in her hair for every live eviction fucking show. As like, I won 13 or whatever the little code was for I adore you or whatever. You know, it's the Froogie Showman. I said it. It's the Froogie Showman. These two are going to become lovers afterwards. Let me run one clip. I got a clip here because this bothers me so much. Every single eviction episode, it bothers the shit out of me. And I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I want you to pay attention to this clip. And Adam, you tell me what it is. Roll the clip.
Ceremony. One of my duties as head of household is to nominate 2 people for eviction. I will pull the first key, that person will be safe. That person will pull the next key, and so on and so forth. Jen, you are safe.
Ian, you are safe.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay, after the song. Okay, what is it, Adam?
Would it be the sound of the knife or the sword as they pull the key out of the box?
It's like a sword coming out of a sheath. And
Oh,
what are
Jesus.
those keys made out of, Adam?
They're made out of plastic.
They're made out of plastic. Okay, Fetus, can you run that just really quick one more time and even forward it a little bit? We don't need to hear all of it. I just so for the people that now can see.
Someone pulls the next key, and
Listen
so on
to
and
the
so
key.
forth.
It sounds like a pirate taking a sword out. Here it comes.
Jen, you are safe.
Watch this one. The sound doesn't automatically keep coming out. Watch.
Ian, you are safe.
Thank you.
Now, is that something new? Did they just start
she
that?
Has it out. She has it out, and then you hear shing. You know, I'm like, what are you kidding me?
Did that just start this year? Because I don't remember that ever.
No, it started a few years ago. Let me tell you, the keys in Big Brother 8 were metal. Wait. I believe the keys in Big Brother 8 were metal. And I think they went to plastic keys shortly after that. And Big Brother 13, you know, I have my key. It's plastic. You know, so all the keys are plastic, and they don't make a shing sound when you
Well,
pull
you know,
them.
if they've been doing it before this year, it's definitely accentuated a lot louder, and as you saw, very badly synced. Because you know, this is the first season I actually noticed it. At first, I thought you were going to talk about you hate Frank talking with his hands with everything he says. He would have been great on season 12 when they had the puppet thing, when they had to talk and use the puppets. He wouldn't have even needed the sock puppet. He would have just been talking with the puppet the entire time. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly right. So I have before we wrap, I have one video mailbag that I've saved for you. Actually, this was for an episode probably like 2 or 3 ago, but we were so involved in the show that I forgot to play it. And we don't do very many clips on the show anymore because we do them right after, which makes it, you know, it's too hard to take clips out of the show that just showed, 10 minutes before we start. So I want to show this one, but before I do, for all of my Cat Lady fans, I know you've seen me talking about this on Twitter. I have arranged, because I love you, okay? Unlike Jeff and Jordan that have the big Cat Lady fandom, I take care of my cat ladies. You go to kittymansions.com, www.kittymansions.com, kittymansions.com. Use coupon code EVIL, E-V-E-L, not E-V-I-L, E-V-E-L, and you will get 15% off of your order, anything on their site, and it all comes with free shipping. Am I the man or what? So
I'm going to get a cat now just for that. Because I'm a Jew. Who doesn't love it? I want to save 15%.
Yeah, well, exactly. And free shipping. Winnipeg, I will be up in Winnipeg on the 6th, which is coming up very quickly now. We're at like 9 days out or something. I'll be up in Winnipeg on the 6th. Follow me on Twitter, which is @EvilDick, EVEL, like you can see right up here. I think it doesn't say that, Evil Dick right here. EVELDICK with the little @ in front of it. Follow me there, and you can find out how to win tickets to the Winnipeg appearance with Janelle and Portia. And there's a lot of other stuff going on. As a matter of fact, I'm about to sign a contract to do 10 episodes of a show that I will be talking about after I sign the contract. But I'll be going to LA. The date is going to be set, I believe, tomorrow. I have a phone meeting where I'm going to be doing the first 10 episodes, and I'm going to be going out and shooting a pilot for another show. Things are finally rolling here.
Yay, Dick. And speaking of which, you can follow me on Twitter @HeavyMetalTeddy, @HeavyMetalTeddy. And don't forget, every Tuesday on Superpass, Rants and Roars, with me and Matt Hoffman. Matt rants and I roar.
On my show. I hate Superpass. I'm sorry, but I hate Superpass. Those guys can suck my dick. They do with the feeds is horrible. Have you been watching the feeds? How bad are they? They keep repeating.
The feeds have been choppy, they skip, they repeat.
Absolutely horrible. Superpass can lick my balls. And so I'm saving this one for you. This is a video mailbag from my fan and pal. Okay, my fan, not my pal. Hitler. So let's roll this video mailbag.
Michael here. And look, Dick, I'm not Hitler, okay? I shaved and trimmed my mustache. So you can stop calling me Hitler. And Portia, I'm really happy to see you made it to the final two. I wish you would have won, and Rachel won, which I was like, but you were a good player. And Janelle, I loved her. I loved what you said after Mike Boogie's goodbye message about what a loser and what a douchebag. I was laughing my ass off. So, thanks, guys.
Okay, so it wasn't really.
Where was the question?
He was just making a statement that he loves Janelle, hated Rachel, Boogie's a douchebag, and I'm not Hitler anymore.
And I think I know who that is, and if that's Michael, the one that I think it is. He's a great fan. He loves to talk about bacon with me. He loves to bust my chops with you. He's always like, whenever you rip me a new asshole on Twitter, he's the first one to respond. So good for him. And thank God he shaved that Hitler mustache.
Yeah, I don't know what that Hitler mustache was all about. Before we go, I'm going to ask Fetus to lead us out with once again playing the tribute to my favorite house guest of this season, Jody. So let's roll the tribute to Jody, and we're going to call it a show. Thank you, Adam, for showing up. I do appreciate it.
Don't blink. You'll miss it. Thanks, Dick, for having me.
It was good talking to you tonight. Roll that, Fetus. Oh. He's looking for it right now. He's like, son of a bitch, I didn't know you were going to go for that again.
Come on, Fetus.
Come on. I know you can do it.
Did the hurricane pull away?
Let's do that one more time just because it was so good. You could play that all day long. Jody, we miss you. We love you. Very
love
good.
You, Jody.
RTV's on. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, and good night, LA and America.
Good night.